presented by Brothers Truck Parts. Here's HE&M Solves Project Hudson Hornet.
Well, Doug, it looks like we got everything out of the way to go ahead and access the engine and get it out a lot easier. And look, today's cars, Christmas tree, 5 plastic clips, Hudson Hornet front grille, 200 bolts. Weighs at least a pound, right?
Absolutely.
All right, James, let's go ahead and roll that thing in here and pull this engine out. Okay, now we've double checked and triple checked and made sure everything is disconnected. Now we're going to slowly pull this thing out with the transmission attached because the crankshaft is locked up.
We're on the wood right now.
Hold on. You got it. I'm going to undo the strap, okay? Okay. And see, you guys, this is common right here. You're always going to come across 1 or 2 things that you can't see and miss.
Okay, I've got it.
You got it?
Yep. There's a trick. You can go ahead and pop the wire. And popping it means I just pull it, and that'll loosen up the nut, and that's what I was able to do, just to go ahead and to let it come off real fast without a wrench. But if I take it and I pop it, it'll go ahead and it'll loosen up. And when it does, then I can just go ahead and back the nut right off. It'll come right off. It's a trick that you can do if you don't have a wrench and you're trying to move real fast. Only works on something that's a real small nut. Make sure as you're holding it, you're on top, so if anything were to happen. All right.
1, 2, 4.
Easy, 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 easy. Get to break it again. Oh, now we're going to lose all the oil. Sam, go ahead and put the back yoke back into it. It'll keep the oil from going everywhere. There we go. Now, wasn't that fun?
That was a blast, let me tell you right now. That sucker weighs more than the car. Whew. Now, let's rebuild it, go through the transmission, make some horsepower, so we can make it reliable and last a long time.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Let's get going.
Absolutely. Now, anytime you guys are pulling out an engine, you have to make sure to know how much weight it is. We pull a lot of newer engines out, aluminum. They're about 200 pounds at the most, with transmission maybe 4. So we're going to use the half-ton spot on the engine hoist. And in this case on the Hudson, we don't really have a lot of places that we could have mounted our chains to, so we pulled 2 head bolts out, went in with an 1.5 to 2-inch longer grade 8 bolt so that we don't grab only a few threads and pull threads out of the block, because that thing is heavy.
Yeah, one of the things that you always want to remember when you're pulling an engine, especially one that's this way, but any engine, as you're pulling it, make sure your hands are always out of the way. When you're dealing with engine hoists and you're dealing with chains to be able to pull it out, they get old. When they get old, you always have to be prepared for something to let go at some point in time that you just never expect. So make sure your hands are always out of the way. Now when you're dealing with an engine that's this heavy, you don't want to be at the half ton. What you want to do is move it down farther that you're able to move to, because on the bottom what you're going to do is you're going to distribute the load better onto the lift. Otherwise, you're putting all the weight on the back wheels. The farther it is, the weight's on the back wheels. As you move it all the way in, you're distributing your load all the way across. It just makes it a much easier and safer when you're doing it.